We're gonna have a video about Dracopal and what happened after adjusting list. Recently, I've noticed some trends about Dracopal being really behind the curve, and deck is still winning because deck is amazing. Deck's really good. Deck's really powerful. But even then, I still see choices that I don't deem is optimal, and I see that people is skipping a pretty critical card that I'm going to explain. So let me show you the deck profile. 3 bot cards. This card isn't really that good. You play it because you play the vanilla support and because it makes hamster instantly live with face off. It makes this card live with face off. That's one of the reasons you play it. It's not really good. You really don't want to throw it. It sucks. But you have to play it anyway to maximize the output of your deck. So, 3 bot cards. 3 bot cards. Now we get to 3 good cards. I mean, they are bad cards, but they are good because the Noster is good, because the Noster is God tier. The Noster is God tier. These guys aren't really impressive, but the Noster is God tier. So these guys go up a lot in the packing order. Now we play Dracslayer. Dracolayer is amazing. It's broken. It's really busted. It's at 1 to avoid looping, but it's really busted. Card is fucking nuts. Then we play a broken card. This card is probably going to get banned. 1 card scales are really problematic for the game. So then I play. Uh, they have played the scapegoat card. And then monkey board is broken. Joker isn't. Fuck Konami. Joker is really fair card. It probably shouldn't be able to be pendulum summoned, but other than that, it's really fair. It only works in the normal summon, so it's basically once per turn, and you basically have to normal summon it. So I really didn't understand what was the point of limiting it. It's nothing like Stratos like at all. Um, 3 broken cards. This card is really broken. Even if we lose face off and wavering, I really have a good plan for using them if they still manage to stay at 3. So yeah, this card's really busted. Magicians perform mapples and all dice are going to merge with this thing. I'm probably going to merge after Shining Victories, and this is going to be a key element that glues them together as a unity. Then we play Pot of Grid combo 3 and 2. I like 3 and 2 to balance my scales more, and I really don't like Silver Claw. I really don't understand why people dislike, oh, you need Silver Claw because you can pop it with Sorcerer the first time, and then Silver Claw is going to help you more in the extra deck. Well, that's part of it, but you don't necessarily need to pop 2. If you already spent your normal summon, you can go Monkey with Turtle, this guy, pop, and go Pot of Grid. You really don't need to overuse your resources, especially if you don't have the normal summon available. If you have it, then you've gotta pop it. But the situation really doesn't come up that often to justify playing bad cards like Silver Claw. It has some implications in increasing damage for every case, but they are really small. You can play it if you want to. I really don't like it. Then we played 3 broken cards. This card's really good. This card is amazing. I really don't understand why people is so behind the curve of this card. This card is really disgusting. You can easily open hands like this guy with any pendulum scale. This guy and another low scale. Let's say another low scale. it can be anything. Ideally, it would be that with its limit, but it can be anything like another like a vector. It can be anything. Let's say you've got these four cards. Let's say sorcerer. Let's do it well. Let's do the most. Let's do an awfully potent combination for you to understand what hamster does. Uh, you go and play the scale and play master. Master has a really nice and useful effect when you can pop a pendulum card in the pendulum sun. So in any player's pendulum sun, so you pop this guy and send it to the extra deck. Then you play the hamster and use its effect. Then you're going to choose the master pendulum, bring into master pendulums, fuse for dinoster. Yep. Then you're going to complete the scale. Then you're going to summon 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to pop 2 with this guy. So you're going to grab your infamous pot of great combo because you really don't need to waste more cards, and you're going to search monkey board anyway in the end phase if you really need to. So no problem. Then this is a critical part of the process. I see many people only playing one Magister, and that's a big mistake. You often use both. They're really critical because they are going to allow you to keep your combos going. You are going to send this Master Pendulum to the graveyard to summon the Master Pendulum in your extra deck. You're going to summon with this guy in this case, no? And then you've got to have this. Then you're going to use the one you brought with Magister with Pendulum Sorcerer for Dinoster. And then Dinoster is going to bring this guy back. And then you can easily go Heartbringer, which is really good, and Giant Hand or Rafflesia or anything you want. You can even go ahead and play another Magister, which is why this card is really important. Detach and summon this guy, and then you're gonna have 2 searches, Heartbringer, this guy. These guys are not really sitting ducks. They're really important because next turn you're going to detach this and grab another one of this from your extra deck if you have one available, and keep the game going, keep the cycle going. Drag Slayers are a really powerful card that many people really don't understand yet. It personally took me a while to understand them perfectly, but now that I do, I can not only see why they're really good, I can see that they are problematic for the game, like at all. And Hamster is just another piece in those bastards way. Yeah, the Noster is really important. I see people playing to the Noster, and I think that's a big mistake. I find myself really often using all 3 of them because I use them to create cheap rank 4s, because I bring 1, I bring 2, then like use Castle, Dire Wolf, whatever, and then Pendulum Summon, and then next turn, rinse and repeat. So that's really good. So yeah, this card's fucking disgusting. Many people has yet to catch up to it, but you rarely dead draw it, which is even more amazing. It even has some other it even has a useful pendulum effect where you can banish this card in your pendulum sun and grab a pendulum with and grab 2 pendulums with the same name and add them to your hand. The main value of the effect is to create a situation where you can guarantee having a high scale, or let's say you've got 2 pendulum sorcerers or 2 of these guys, or a low scale, so you have a complete scale regardless of what happens. That's one of the uses. The other uses, for example, you open this, let's say you have this 5 card hand. Not impressive, like at all, okay. That might be at first glance, but this hand's actually really impressive. Like you can play this guy and pop it, then play hamster, bring two more master pendulums. I don't know where master pendulum is, to be honest. Here it is. Then go dinoster, power. Then you are going to play, your extra deck has this 4 cards. And then you're going to go 3 and 5. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And from this point on, you've got 2 options. You can clear both scales or you can wait. When I say you can wait, it's because you are going to eventually send at least one of this or both, 2 of this to the extra deck, and you are going to have the option to clear them out. So that's one point. Another point would be like, sometimes you can go ahead and pendulum summon like this way and adding 2 to hand and then playing this guy, and then you're going to have a bunch of monsters. So that's really important. Hamster is a really good card. So even opening 2 isn't really that bad. I actually had a hand where I had like this, I think I had a soul charge. I had this thing, I think. A master and sorcerer. I'm fairly certain I had sorcerer. It really doesn't look as impressive, but it actually was impressive enough. So what I did was just master pendulum, pop this guy, add a solemn card, then play this guy, then pendulum summon both of these guys, then break this guy and this guy for 2 other counter trap cards, then play this guy and bring in 2 master pendulums. Then go Magister, then detach, then bring this guy, then go Dinoster, then go this guy, then yeah, you could even go ahead and play it in a way that you will end up with both scales with both in the extra deck, like doing it like this with sorcerer, and then just banishing this guy, grabbing these 2 guys back, and getting to you're going to draw. You have the 3 counters. I mean that this guy is fucking broken, so that's one way to use it. So keep that in mind, or if you don't pop Ariadne for the 3rd counter, you then just go for another Dinoster and leave 2 counters, Heartbringer, this guy, this in hand, Pot of Grid, so you get really far ahead of the curve. And Hamster just contribute a lot to that. It's more monsters, faster, way too good. Then we keep on the profile of what we have in the main deck. We have 3 Ariadne. I already used 1 for examples. I really don't like this card too much, but we have a lack of good pendulum monsters, so I'm playing this. It's fine. I don't think it's excellent. It's just filler that can work well because you can pendulum summon stuff into solemns and still have solemns to try to defend yourself next turn and not to die. It's okay. So now we play 3 eccentric Archfiend. People say that 3 is too much. I totally disagree. This card is meant to be used with Magister. Magister is a big part as a why that card is good at all. Like, yeah, it's a good part of why is that good at all. So people really underrate it. For example, against Monarch, you can go Heartbringer and you are going to be grabbing back. And in the end phase, you are going to be adding this back. Even if they manage to break through your Heartbringer lock, you are going to have an answer to the main and a full extra deck. So this is important. Even against decks like Burning Abyss, this card is important because you eliminate the back row that could potentially stop you from keep going. So this card is really important, and they work hand in hand. I really disagree with people saying that 2 is enough because you can search it. Well, you want to search it, but you also want to open it when you go second. That's important. Then we play 3 face off. This card is probably not going to remain at 3 for too long. It's really fucking insane. 3 wavering. It's too fucking insane in mirror matches, and adds another layer of consistency to pendulum decks against non-pendulum decks, and in turn 1 it's probably going to end up at 1. I don't think Konami is going to ban it. They should, but they're stupid. Then I played painful decisions. As you can see, a lot of my game plan with this deck revolves around this guy. This is basically 2 extra copies of this guy, so I can hamster. So that's what it's mainly for. It's just to have more copies of this guy and going to the Noster faster. So yeah, that really doesn't have much purpose. The Soul Charge, I think that people can use this card well for their to save their life. Many times when I open it, I use Dire Wolf to clean my Jester, and then Soul Charge for 4 or 5 again, which allows me to keep going. People really can't understand how to use this card. This card's amazing even if you open it. So yeah, this card also allows you to throw stuff into horns or solemns and don't care about it. Then we've got 5 counter trap cards. In all honesty, I really don't like this card. This card, it's not bad, it's certainly not bad, but it really isn't amazing. I really thought a lot about giving the last spot to the Rescue Rabbit. It's really good, but again, sometimes I really like to resolve Ariadne to it 3 times, and 5 counter traps is the best radio to do so, because even if you open, let's say this, you can use Ariadne 2 times, like 3 and 3. So you can cut it. If you feel gutsy, you can cut it and play Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit going first is a Dinoster. Dinoster is really important to create a ladder of summons that just keep you going. From this point on, let's take a quick look at the extra deck, like Castle, Dweller, Wolf, and I play 2 Giant Hands. I don't like Reflecia. Reflecia is a good card, but I'm forced to play because I don't want to draw just to play a good card. And I'm playing Solemn. If I wasn't playing Solemn, Reflecia is a really valid option. But with Solemns, you've got a lot of cards you don't want to draw. So I prefer 2 Giant Hands. They're really not necessary, but I like them as a defensive option to lock the field, especially in the mirror match and against Monarch and against Atlantean. Against Atlantean, Dweller gets the job done, but this card can help you a lot too to not get one shot. So, and then from this point on, I play Trignister. Should be really standard. I don't know why people would want to play less than 3. Don't do it. Then I play the 3 Noster. I see people playing 2 all of the time, and that's a big mistake because the Noster is a card that allows you to keep a full extra deck, and it's problematic for some decks by itself. For example, Burning Abyss have a really hard time getting over this guy in defense mode. So this guy allows you to keep throwing rank 4 after rank 4 after rank 4 and keep going. He's really good. I play 2 Magister. I see people playing 1 and saying that 2 are not really needed. I disagree. All of the Draco ladder keeps you going one after another, and while the searching effect really isn't that good, The effect that grabs a Draco Slayer from your extra deck is amazing. That's the main thing you're using this for. So yeah, I used to all of the time, often in the same turn. I don't know why one would want to play less than two. And finally, because I've got the space as I cut Furlims, I play two Heartbringer. People play one, but my version focuses a lot on playing with the Noster and an Ignister, so I really have a lot of room to assemble it. Cutting it for whatever reason is fine. You oftentimes don't use the second. That okay. And some other things you can do with the deck is play the Dark Engine. At first, when we played the Dark Engine, we were basically using it to grab a high or low scale, or a friend rank 4, or a mystical space typhoon. And while that is really lackluster if you don't have the vanillas to back it up, because you are going to end your resources really fast enough. You're going to finish off your resources fast enough. You can create some nasty combinations with the Draco Slayer cards, because this is basically a giant hand. I have a friend that played YCS San Jose last week and chose to play Armageddon 9th edition to the Draco engine, and he did really well. So it's fine, you can try it, but you're going to have to try it instead of Ariadne. The deck can't really support that many stuff. Other thing you can do that I chose to forego is Instant Fusion and Northern. Again, this is basically a Rafflesia or a giant hand. If I wasn't playing counter traps, I would totally be playing these cards. They're really good, so keep that in mind. I cut them because the counter traps basically do the same, and Northern takes an extra deck space and makes you weaker to Maxi. But you can totally play it if you want it. Instant Fusion and Northern are really good cuts. Other thing you can do that I really haven't put many effort in doing was playing a Dino Engine and Lagian Dolka. The theory behind this is that you can pop with Master Pendulum and then assemble a Lagia or a Dolka for free. Or you can pop and you can do your standard plays and then pop these guys with Pendulum Sorcerer and the Pendulum Sun and normal summon Hamster to bring 2 more. This card actually is really bad. You play it because it's a high scale, but it's really bad. But this card is actually decent. It's not amazing, but it's not that bad. It can make good combinations with Dweller. Combining with Dweller, this format solves 2 out of the 4 most important matchups. This basically can fuck up Cosmo and Burning Abyss with Dweller, so it's really good. I don't know if I would play this over Ariadne or the trap cards, but it's definitely an option that people can try. The problem with cutting Ariadne and Solemns, as I said, is that most pendulum monsters we have let suck outside of Wisdom Eye, and Wisdom Eye comes with its own set of problems, so it's fine. It's a trade-off. You can try it for fun, even if you don't think it's really competitive. Shout out to the guy on Poho that said that we were going to play Break Sword in this deck for God knows what reason. Things that you shouldn't do with this deck: bad card, second copy of a bad card, bad card, bad card, bad card. Yeah, let's get this out of the way. Then we've got some side deck options. I think that, well, the things I won't ever move from my side deck, it's King of the Furlims and Chameleon. I side this in for Cosmo. You don't really need it for anything else. I side deck it in for Cosmo. Against Cosmo, good players often try to use Cosmojo on Luster Pendulum, and then you can really be fucked up. So having this as a recovery plan is fine. This guy just grabs it to you. And the second Abyss Dueler. This card is really important for Monarchs and Burning Abyss. So you are not going to use 2 often in game 1, but definitely side it in for Giant Hand. So And then Maxi. I like this card a lot. People say this card is fair, and I disagree. This card is really busted. This card can easily lock a player out of the game. I talked about this card with a really good player with Reyes Suarez, and we basically felt the same about using this card in a deck like Cosmo. In a deck like Cosmo, you can go tag and bring in the Dark Destroyer, and then just throw Maxi and laugh of your opponent. That's really stupid because they are fucked if they do and fucked if they don't. Yeah, in this deck you can easily set up a big board and throw this and lock and effectively lock out someone out of the game. Yeah, I put them in the side deck because I'm playing the counter traps. If I wasn't playing the counter traps, I would probably play 1-2 trap holes, 3 maxi, and call it a day. So yeah. The other options are Baylor. I think this is a bad card. People is going to rage and disagree, but I really don't think this card is very good. I don't side deck them, but it's an option nonetheless. Then this cards, Denko, Mystical Space Typhoon, Storm, and Twin Twisters fill the same role. They get rid of annoying back row that can easily finish you and pin you down. You can choose any combination of these cards you want. Many people don't like Storm, and I actually like Storm way better than Twin Twister. I think Twin Twister is a really bad card. People is going to disagree, but this card really isn't that amazing. I don't like this card a lot. I like more Storm and obviously Mystical Space Typhoon. The simple card is always better because if you use it, you have 5 more cards to combo. After you use Twin Twister, you're only going to have 4 more cards to combo, and going off with 4 cards, even if your opponent has no back row, is really hard. So yeah, I don't like this card. I really wouldn't play it. If you want, you can do it. It's not bad, but I don't want to do it. What I would do is play 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, and then I would probably choose Storm. Denko is good, but the only deck you're going to use it against is the Mirror Match or Burning Abyss, in which case Storm can do a fine job. Against it as well if you go second to stop the counter traps. This can stop a lot of counter traps. The only downside to this is that if they have Wavering, you are screwed up. But most people use Wavering turn 1 to advance their game state, so that's not too much of an issue. Yeah, I would probably choose this. Oh, and against Burning Abyss, Beatrice nullifies Denko. So I like Storm better. And finally, what I don't really think I like, the Floodgates. You can use this to Floodgate different deck, Monarchs, Burning Abyss, Atlanteans, Cosmo. This card is particularly bad against Cosmo. I think it's a bit better against Monarch. And Emptiness. I really do like Emptiness. If I wasn't playing the counter traps, I would probably side it in when I go first. It's really strong with Heartbringer. And then this, I really don't like them a lot. People do. I don't like them in combo decks. Your deck is already better than most people decks, so you really don't need that. And finally, Darkhold and Regeki. These cards were way better in the mirror match when going second. Before Heartbringer. Now Heartbringer brings another completely different dimension, and that's another reason as of why eccentric attachment is important, because it can clear Heartbringer. So yeah, you should keep that in mind. I don't like them a lot. I think they are really bad cards. Well, I do like Darkhold in Cosmo. It's really good in Cosmo because you can use it to advance your own game state. But I really don't like it. I really don't like Regeki. If you are open with Regeki, it's one less card to play the game. So if you're going to play this, just do it when you go second. And that's it. We're going to have more discussion later and other stuff, but this is it for Dracopals.